All right. I'm not used to standing in one spot as I speak, so if I do a lot of this, it's not because I'm dancing, it's because I'm antsy. But thanks so much to Sue for reaching out. She saw our sign at the library, and I did not prepare enough handouts because I had no idea there'd be this much support. So cool beans, thank you so much for being here and supporting your community and last Saturday and everything that's going on. And so if you could gather around somebody who has one of these little handouts that Sue just gave you, there are 3 pages to the handout, okay? And I'll make a bunch more up, but if we could share for now, that would be great. And the second page of the handout is a little sheet of paper that looks like this. So if you could gather around the person at your table who has the handout and turn to this page, that would be great. It's a little comic strip, if you will. Okay, does everybody have that? You're all huddled around each other? You got that? Okay, so I'm going to give you 10 seconds and I don't want you to talk. I just want you to read the comic to yourself, okay? You have 10 seconds to read that. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay, now I'm going to ask a couple questions about this comic, right? It's only 1 sentence long, so it should be pretty easy, right? What month of the year is this taking place? Who's got one? Who said it? Yes.
The day before Thanksgiving.
The day before Thanksgiving. I'm sorry, but you've been evicted from your apartment. Okay. Could you please tell me the name of the person in the comic?
Toby.
Who said it? In what did you say?
Toby.
Oh, sorry, you've got a font. I know, right? Okay. So, and what is going on? Where is this person going? Anyone got it? Yes.
It's all Greek to me.
It's all Greek to you. Sorry, you missed an interview. Sorry. Okay. So let's see. Did anybody get anything else out of this as you read it? You know where the telephones are because you used the picture, right? You're modifying. I like that. So you could have had your credit score lowered, but because you used the pictures, you didn't have your credit score lowered. Okay. Anybody else? Could anybody read that sentence out loud to me right now? Who's willing to do that? Oh, what you got there?
I think it's September till we take a trip on the train.
Oh my goodness sakes alive. You could have gone to the wrong hospital and not been treated, but you figured it out, right? You're decoding. So why do we do this little exercise at the beginning? Because as you know, 1 in 4 people cannot read, and that's adult people. 1 in 4 right now. It was 1 in 5, and now we're up to 1 in 4, okay? And if an adult is trying to manage life, and everything is in print, whether it's on their cell phone or on the internet or on an advertisement on the TV, right? They cannot read. There are a lot of things that can go wrong. You missed an interview, correct? Okay, if we can teach our community members, our adults, to read better, we will not only enhance their lives, but we will enhance our community, correct? Okay, and so that's what we're here to talk about today. Also on the back side of your handout, if you turn, you'll see that there's a business card that belongs to me. That's on the very back. And on the back of that business card is a word. Each person or each grouping has a different word. And as I talk through this at the end, we're going to make sure that we've hit all of these words so you know what we've said tonight, okay? I'm a 30-year teacher. This is how we do things. Anybody in here joining me in the schoolhouse or from the schoolhouse retired? Okay, so whoop, whoop, you know what we're doing here, right? A little bit active learning. So Tony, in September, Tony took a trip on the train. That's what that says, okay? If you knew that, and that's a bill that came to you, you wouldn't have gotten evicted from your apartment. And again, that's why we're here. But we're talking about Tony, first of all, to remind us that people in the community cannot read. Now, that was probably frustrating to you, right? And here I'm calling you out, I don't even know you. All right. I wanted to let you know that the other day I was at a Develop IASCO meeting and they reported that 16% of the people in this area are impoverished. Okay, and so that generally runs right along with illiteracy. But then there's a lot of other people who slip through the cracks, right? And for whatever reason, maybe they were transient, right? Maybe they had home life situations. Maybe they had a disability that was never diagnosed. Okay, but they get to a certain point and they're just cruising along and they're slipping through the cracks. And now all of a sudden they're 45, 65 years old and they've never learned to read. And as a result, they are stuck. Yeah? Sound like anybody you've ever met or heard of? Okay. So reading is the gateway. Like I said, if we can identify these people, if we can help them conquer their shame, and if we can meet with them an hour a week, okay, we can start to build their skills and get them more productive, feeling confident so that they can go out and impact the community as well. Whoop, whoop. Good stuff, right? So my boss through IRESA, Whitney Detmer, does anybody know Whitney? So she decided, or she had this vision, because she's the director of adult development and education at IRESA. And she had this vision for a literacy program because many other counties have it. But guess what? In the 11 counties of Northeast Michigan, the only place that has a reading program that's organized is Alpena. Okay, so Whitney said, hey, we want to have one of these and we want it to reach 11 counties. And so they wrote a grant. It was called a 107A grant. We don't know if that funding will continue, but don't worry, we're rolling. And then we're appealing to the Kellogg Foundation and others so that we don't have to stop our efforts. But anyway, she got this grant and then she hired me. And so my background is 10 years of teaching high school English, and then I taught for 20 years higher ed business communications at Northwood University. And I said to her in the interview, Whitney, I'm not good for this job. I don't know how to teach people to read. And she said, I think you are the person that we need. Hallelujah, Whitney, right? And so she hired me, and then I had to teach myself how to teach other people to read. But guess what? There's a great organization nationwide called Pro Literacy, and they write age-old books like this that help us to teach our adult learners how to read, because adult learners are so different than kid learners, right? And then they have these robust websites and training modules. So I went through all of that. I was hired January 20th, and by April, I'd been like blurry-eyed on their website, reading through all the books, and I'm like, whoa, I think I can teach people how to read now, because I'm breaking it back down to a fundamental level. So now what I'm doing is I'm taking things like the word Petoskey stone, right? And I was like, how do you say Petoskey? And then we break it down. I did not know how to do this before. How many sounds are in Petoskey? Okay, what is it? Why is it magic? And so on and so forth. So what I do is I take something that is privy to the area, like a Petoskey stone, right? And help people to understand it better by reading a paragraph about it and then breaking it down like this. Okay, you can do that too, because as you can tell, I'm sort of a fast thinker, fast speaker. So if I can break it down, so can you. And guess what? If you can't, that's why I have this role, because then I meet with you and I'm like, oh, you're having trouble with so-and-so. Don't worry, I'll plan your lesson for you. And we are a great partnership. So all my tutors are getting a hold of me all the time and saying, hey, I think that Jim is now at a 4th grade level. And I'm like, cool. And he likes mechanics. And so then I'm downloading articles at the 4th grade level that have to do with truck engines, right? And then that's what they're reading and working on together. Okay, so you don't have to have a lot of experience. You just have to have a good team. And I think that we can be that for each other if you're interested in donating 1 hour of your time a week. Just 1 hour. That's all we're asking for. 1 hour a week, and we meet at the public libraries, because what we found is this is going to be a really rich partnership. People coming into the library, and you're coming in, and perhaps their kids will come along with them. We've seen all different situations, but we love having it at the public libraries. And right now we have East Tawas Library, Tawas City Library, and Oscoda Library totally on board, and we have partnerships meeting in those places. So 1 hour a week, no experience necessary. You just have to know how to read yourself and be encouraging. Yeah? Okay, so Coletta brings people here from Mexico City, but then doesn't offer them any English instruction. So in Oscoda right now, we have a huge program going during the year where we're teaching students ESL in a class setting, English as a second language in a class setting. But now that it's summer, right, that has died off. And so what we need are tutors to come in and work with them one-on-one. And what we're finding is that they really excel in this one-on-one setting. And right now, that's where my greatest need is. So if anybody is available to drive to Oscoda on Tuesday or Thursday morning at 11 o'clock, then these people are ripe and waiting to work with you. They're the most gracious learners I've ever worked with in my life. And so that is a immediate need. If that doesn't sound like something that and again, I don't know how to teach English as a second language, but we get through it together, okay? If that doesn't sound like something, but you do want to do something eventually, we can certainly match you up with anyone else. But that brings me to the Field of Dreams story. Did you ever see the movie? Okay, so if you saw the movie, the famous line is? Right, so what are we doing here? We are building a reading program because we know we need it. Okay, but now we need our learners to come to us, because where we do have audiences like our Coletta ESL learners, there are a lot of people out in the community who are hiding behind their shame or embarrassment, or they just have given up. Okay, so if somebody that lives next door to you has a niece who might need this, right? If you could identify them and send them our way, we need the students as well, because we're building it, we want them to come. Okay, so there's that. And then I'd like to end with a story about Dion Butler. Anybody know who he is? Dion Butler. Do I have any Lions fans in the crowd? Yeah, okay. Well, Dion Butler went to Central Michigan University, graduated with a 3.5, went on to play for the Detroit Lions in his home state, okay, but continued to get cut because he couldn't read the playbook, because he jimmied his way through life, never learning to read, but somehow passing not only high school, but also college and getting to the NFL, cut 3 times. But they kept bringing him back because he had such athletic prowess. So I had the great honor of attending one of his presentations in April. And he talked about the 3rd time they cut him, he found out his wife was pregnant. At that point, he said, hold the phone. I'm not going back to football. I need to learn to read. Because when my daughter arrives, I want to be able to read her a bedtime story. I want to be able to help her with homework. He said, I never had parents that did that for me. Okay? So the Detroit Lions call again. He's like, sorry, I'm learning to read. And he was paired with a literacy tutor, somebody just like you, who said, yeah, I'll give you an hour a week. And in the 9 months that his wife grew that baby, he grew his reading skills. And he ended his presentation showing us a video of he and his daughter all bundled up under a blanket on the couch, and he was reading her a spooky old tree. You know that one by the Berenstains, Jan and Stan? Mm-hmm. Okay, and there was not a dry eye in the audience. It was a fascinating story. He said, people dream of being in the NFL. He made it to the NFL. He dreamed of reading. And once he had that, he's like, I'm going to go now around the country, and I'm going to try to shed some light and say, hey, don't be ashamed. People are there to help you. And that's what all of us could be. And if it's not for you, maybe it's for your neighbor or for your spouse or whomever, right? You might have a whole church full of people that want to do this type of thing. And so we're just saying, if this sounds like something that you want to do, please sign up. If it sounds like something you know somebody who'd be really good, please have them sign up. And if you can identify a student for our Field of Dreams program, even better. So on the handout that you have, there's a scan code, right? A QR code. If you scan that with your cell phone, right, with your camera function, it'll take you right to a sign-up sheet if you want a tutor, and it's the same sign-up if you want to be a student in our program. So we try to keep it easy schmeezy. I wear it around all the time like the biggest dork in the world. Wanted! We need students, we need tutors, right? I take my big sign wherever I go. Mm-hmm. Yeah, oh, for the video. Okay, so there's that. So before I go to asking, or if you have any questions, let's go